Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In this more advanced video tutorial on Tinkercad, I'm going to be showing you how to create a really complex building with some very simple techniques. For this building, all I did was use a series of cubes aligned and grouped together, as well as some opaque or negative cubes, and again, continue to group them together. One of the first things I did was I stacked a series of cubes next to each other that look like this for one of my four major walls. Now to do this, the easiest way is to create a cube, copy and paste it, slide it over to the side, and then adjust the height to what you want it to be. I doubled the height here. Then you can click copy, paste, slide it over again, making sure that it's touching or aligned, and then doubling, or not doubling, but adding 20 more to the height until you have a tower or a height that looks like this. Once you have something that looks like this, you are going to be grouping it together. To group it together, you're going to draw a box around it or select all of it and hold shift and click the group button at the top. When they're grouped, you'll notice that that ridge disappeared unless they were never touching. So you can see that this was never touching here. So what I have to do is ungroup it, slide this over to the side so it's touching, and now I'm going to reselect it and click group again. Now you can see they're all working together. Now instead of creating, again, 5 more cubes again, why wouldn't you just select this and copy it and then position it wherever it needs to be? I think that's a much quicker and more effective way of doing this. So again, work smarter, not harder. If this is where you want it to be, then select and group that together. You can see it's touching and it's in good shape. Then I would recommend you copy this. So now I have this in place, but you'll notice that I can't make this, well, I can, I guess. I can make this flip and rotate. But if you have a unique shape that you can't make work and you can't rotate it, you can always flip it and choose which way you want it to flip. Don't flip it that way. And choose which way you want it to flip. And then you can rotate it to how you want it to be and get it positioned in space. So if this is exactly where I want it to be, I can group these together. Now, you'll notice that my other version here had a bunch of holes in it. Now, those holes can take a long time if you don't do it the proper way. Here's what I would recommend, or here's how I would recommend you do it. I would not recommend you take a square like this, turn it into a hole, and place it in your building and group it together. Although it looks like it could work, you would have to do that a lot to make that happen. And anytime you mess this up, you have to ungroup it and then position it around. Here's what I would do instead. Instead of that, what I would do is make a series or a stack of negative rectangles. Why rectangles? So they can go all the way through the building. So I would just make a couple. I'll ungroup them here. I would make a couple, make one, and then duplicate it, and then duplicate that, and duplicate that. So it relatively is a quick, it doesn't take a lot of time. And make sure they're aligned as carefully as you can. If you want windows on the other way as well, you are going to need to copy all of them and then rotate them and slide them over in position. And then you certainly can group them, so it's easier to move and manipulate without accidentally grabbing one, so you can group those like such. And then you can move this in place. but I would really heavily recommend that you make long rectangles so they reach the length of your project. One of the last steps is making sure that this is aligned how you want it. So you can eyeball it, or you can try to measure it. You can move the arrow keys. Use the arrow keys on your mouse to move your work around. That's usually what I recommend, so you can get it as exact as possible and positioned how you want it. Once you have it how you want, select Group, and you can see that the holes were cut through there. And that was done in a relatively quick and short amount of time. So work smarter and not harder, and really think about how you can take a really complex idea and do it in a simple way by copying and pasting and aligning your work. Good luck and have fun.